Welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. From the bus leagues to the big leagues, the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast has got you covered. Here's Jeff and John.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is episode 126, and today, Mike Bacsik from the Texas Rangers TV broadcast is going to be joining us. He's already been a guest once. We're going to have him on again to talk about this team. Jeff, it has not been a good week. The one win at the end of the Mets series, obviously, and it was a great win. It was actually a really good win. But, geez, before that, this team is just scuttling at the plate. And the pitchers who have done okay just can't keep enough runs off the board for this team.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the pitching staff. And I know they talk about, we just faced the opposing lineup, but it's got to wear on them at some point. They know, they look up at the scoreboard. They know who's scoring and who isn't scoring. And it's been a lot of not scoring for the Rangers. You know, they had that, they were swept in Seattle coming off of a really good two wins against the Dodgers. Didn't score much. They scored late in the Saturday game, kind of made it interesting there, but they were down 7-2 at the start of the inning, I think. So they didn't really give themselves much of a chance. And then the Mets can hit. I tell you what, they came in hot. They extended their winning streak to 7 before the Rangers ended it. Rangers really should have won the game Tuesday, lost 7-6, had some sloppy plays. You know, you can blame the pitching staff, but there were runs that scored that just shouldn't have scored. But the good news is that they did win the game Wednesday. They've started hitting the ball out of the ballpark a little bit more these last couple games. That's what makes this team goes. And we saw Wyatt Langford clear a fence, which was good. Yeah. The problem remains at Adolis Garcia, and he sat out the game Tuesday. And I think that until he gets going, there might be an opportunity for him to sit out and work on his swing. I compared it to in 2016 when the Rangers had Ian Desmond and he had signed a 1-year contract, kind of gotten screwed over in the free agency process, came in and he started 5 for 46 or something like that. It was terrible. He's batting 109. And Jeff Bannister took him out of the lineup. And this is Desmond prided himself on playing every day, but Jeff Bannister took him out of the lineup for 2 days, had him work on his swing, kind of take a deep breath, and then put him back in the lineup. And next thing you know, Ian Desmond's hitting 320. He's an all-star. So everybody knows what Adolis Garcia can do. Just right now, he's chasing. He's putting a lot of pressure on himself, and it's just not working. Now you're not going to completely bench him. He played in the game Wednesday against the left-handed starter. And so I just think that this is a chance to maybe do that. Maybe the off day did him some good. Lineup hasn't been posted yet for tonight's game. This is Friday. Hasn't been posted yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's out of it. Honestly, I just think that maybe he needs a mental unplugging and can work on some things that have got him fouled up and see if it works.
Well, if there's anybody that is a baseball fan and can look at an eye test, can tell he's just off. He's chasing high pitches. He had gotten away from that. But he's chasing high pitches. He doesn't look comfortable at the plate. He swings so hard, and you don't want him trying to shorten up because that's what he lives off of. Is he hits the ball hard no matter what, and you need him taking that full swing. But you're right. He is just off.
Yeah, well, like everybody's late on the Rangers can't hit a fastball. It's ridiculous, and that must be a scouting thing. That the Rangers just haven't been able to adjust to. Maybe somebody saw it, and then once the word's out, then everybody else can do it. But they have a lot of problems beyond Garcia. But getting him going, he's in the middle of the lineup. He's the guy in the middle of the lineup that has to, when Seager and Semien are on base, you need somebody to drive him in, and he's not doing that right now.
and Lowe's not doing it, so you can't move Lowe up there. Look, there's no way around it. As great as Josh Smith has been, and he's been fantastic, and he'll stay in this lineup once he's back. Missing Josh Young is a thing. He's always a threat. He's got power. He puts good at bats together. He's just a good bat in this lineup. And by God, he protects some people when he's in there. And it's time to get, speaking of Young, let's go over the injury front. We've used injuries as an excuse. And while they do play a part, they can't, everyone's got injuries. So you can't just sit there and lay it all at the feet of injuries.
Yeah.
Who do we got coming back? We got Young. He is playing in AAA.
Right. He went out there over the weekend. He started his rehab assignment, I guess, officially on it was Sunday. That was in Round Rock. The team then transitioned to Sacramento, where they are now, and he's played every day. He went 9 innings for the first time Thursday night, though. I think he was the DH, so he still needs to get 9 innings in the field. He's been out a long time. He didn't play a lot in spring training, but talking to Chris Young the other day, the Rangers are going to reinstate him from the injured list when he is physically ready to stand out there for 9 innings. He may not be in midseason form, and to be honest, he's not going to get in midseason form at AAA. There's going to be things that are happening up here from a pitching perspective that he's not going to be able to see at AAA. So it may not be good when he gets back, but just the presence that you mentioned, he's going to, whether he's ahead of Garcia or behind Garcia, it's going to help Adolis Garcia. It's just going to make the lineup that much harder to pitch to. And that was the thing last year. The lineup hit from top to bottom. Everybody was a threat. And they don't have that this year. It was a good sign. Hopefully Leody Taveras, hopefully the home run that he hit gets him going. And then, Wyatt Langford hitting the ball over the fence. He's been driving in a lot of runs. And speaking of Wyatt Langford, he's going to be our safe at home with One Rangers Way player of the homestand. I mean, he's doing really well. He just looks so much better overall. But the numbers have been there too. He's driving in runs. He's hitting balls hard. He's hit as many 100-mile-per-hour balls this month as anybody else on the team. And so he's our safe at home, One Rangers Way player of the homestand. And speaking of One Rangers Way, the Rangers and Cordish Companies will be opening One Rangers Way, the first and only residential community that will allow residents to live in the heart of the entertainment districts and walk to Rangers games. I'm looking out the ballpark right now, and I can see it. All right, so it's a exclusive lifestyle. If you didn't see our video last week, go to our YouTube channel and check that out. Yeah. Tons of amenities, bars, swim up bar in the pool,
dog walking places. I mean,
they're going to pamper your dogs. So go check out One Rangers Way, onerangersway.com. Live like a champion at One Rangers Way, which is now leasing for 2025. Now back to Langford. He's raised his average a good I think around 20 points since he came off the injured list. He's like I just said, he's hitting balls hard. They played him in center field the other day, and he handled it without any problem. So he's starting to feel more comfortable. He's not quite what he was in spring training, but he's getting closer. And it was going to take time. I know they're all saying it now, but they'd also said it before. They expected him and Evan Carter to run into some problems. It wasn't going to be just sunshine and lollipops. They were going to have their learning curve, and it just seems like it hit right at the start. And Langford, though, is doing much better, and that's a great sign for the offense. That's another bat that potentially is going to help get them going. But they just need to get going.
Yep. And and we talked about injuries. You said Scherzer's close. He's done rehab start.
Scherzer's going to start this weekend. They just haven't announced it. It's not going to be tonight because that's Evaldi, but it's probably going to be Saturday.
I'll be there.
It could be Sunday, but it's going to happen imminently. And he pitched. He had. Everybody says he has 3 rehab starts, which technically is true, but he had that one in late April, and then that nerve thing started acting up on him. So he had a month off, and then he made 2 more. So I look at it as like these last two are separate from that first one because a lot had changed. So of these last two, the first one was at Oklahoma City. I think it was 4 scoreless, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 hit. The second one gave up 3 runs, walked a couple, struck out at 8, got his pitch count up to 79. So the stuff was there, as you can tell from the strikeouts.
Yeah,
his stamina was there. He should be able to get to about 100 pitches. Whenever this next start, I don't know if the Rangers would let him go that far, but he. This is a 3-time Cy Young winner. And people are like, well, he might not have pitched that well last year. He pitched really well last year when the Rangers got him. He had a 3.20 ERA. He had the one start against the Astros that was rough, but he was hurt at the time. His last start of the regular season was really, really good until his shoulder went, and he had to take himself out of the game. He didn't pitch great in the playoffs, but when he pitched in the World Series, he was at 3 scoreless innings when his back tightened up on him. So he was doing fine. He's
he knows how to battle.
Yeah, he knows how to pitch. He's 39. He's got 5 different pitches. He's gonna have the moxie to compete without his best stuff. But I think that why would you doubt a 3-time Cy Young winner? I know he's been hurt a lot these last couple of years, but he's healthy now. I know this is a new one for him with the nerve, but it seems like he's figured out a way to manage it. So he's going to be starting here this week.
That's going to push someone over to the bullpen.
Yeah, that'll push Dane Dunning into the bullpen.
Dunning or Urena?
Well, Urena's in the bullpen. It'll be Dunning.
Okay.
So the rotation will be Eovaldi, Scherzer, Gray, Lorenzen, and Heaney. And Heaney's pitched well of late. They need that lefty in there, I think, personally.
He was good the other night.
Yeah. So, but what adding these starters to the bullpen does, you have Urena who in his 2 appearances since being moved to the bullpen has been fantastic.
He's been great.
He can bridge the 6th and 7th, which have been a problem, especially the 7th for the Rangers. Dane Dunning can do the same thing. That kind of takes a load off of maybe Jose Leclerc, takes a load potentially off of David Robertson from having to maybe get an out or 2 in the 7th.
Right, he's the 8th inning guy.
Just let him have the 8th. Kind of rest him a little bit. So it's a good thing, and there's more of that coming when Tyler Mahle is able to return in July. Jacob deGrom in August, there's going to be 2 more starters back there. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see. Justin Foscue has gone to Round Rock to rehab. His first game was Thursday night. He played first base. He's been out since the first week of the season, basically. No, there's not going to be any room for him, I don't think. When he'll
end up staying option there.
And Young's healthy. But I mean, they have to reinstate him from the 60-day injured list. And then option him.
And then optioning. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got some work to do with that roster, I'm telling you. All these guys on the 60 that are coming back. You're gonna see some guys get DFA'd, and it's gonna get tough to decide. I'm trying to think if there's any other injury stuff. deGrom has thrown off a mound a couple times now. He's still got a long way to go. Mally's probably close to going out on a rehab assignment. Josh Sborz is with Round Rock, and he hasn't been very good, but the Rangers like the way he's been feeling and throwing, and it's I wonder, he lives and dies with that slider that goes out of the zone. I wonder if these AAA hitters are just taking it because of the ABS, and anyway, he's not far away either. So
no. He was funny the other day. So I was there in the clubhouse, and he was there. So when they're off, he'll come back. He's be with the big league team until he goes out to pitch again. And so my mother had called me the night before because she met him at the live show. Yeah, and Josh was so great, stuck around and signed for everybody. And she goes, "Where is Sborz at?" And I said, "Well, he's injured, Mom." I said, She goes, "Oh, well, tell him we need him back." Made a joke. So I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, my mother, she said she was asking about you." And he goes, "Did you tell her I sucked?" And he was, because he had the bad outing the night before. And then, of course, he was just joking around. But, if we're going to talk about Clubhouse and we want to talk about what happened after the game, very interesting. Before we get out of here and get Bacsik on here, the John Gray thing after he got lit up the other night was, I thought, if y'all need to go see the YouTube videos, he got lit up. There is no doubt in our minds. He thought, I said it the second inning. We were sitting there together, and I said, I wonder if he's tipping his pitches because they were just on him. I mean, that first inning were flares, and they were not really that. But boy, come the second inning, and apparently it was what's his name that said something to everybody, but he was tipping something, and they were barreling everything. And
yeah, and it's not just that they were barreling it; they were like doing it early in counts.
Yep.
And it wasn't just one pitch; they were hitting sliders, fastballs. If it was in the zone and they knew it was coming,
because he did not think he had a bad outing.
John Gray does not think he had a bad outing. He liked his stuff. He was happy with how he pitched. So he's having to make some adjustments. He'll pitch this weekend. We'll see what comes from that. But that was interesting. It raised his ERA like from 2.08 to 3.3 or 3.4. Kind of, it's going to put a dent in his All-Star candidacy. I think he has a chance. I think Kirby Yates has a chance to be an All-Star. And then you look at the voting itself, and Marcus Semien, as of the last voting total release, was second at second base, the only one in position to move to phase 2 where they elect the starter. So Rangers fans, you need to vote for your team at rangerstoday.com/vote. Look out check out their Twitter account because they're doing like giveaways for autograph balls and
who is
the Rangers and stuff like that. And speaking of the All-Star Game, our partner Autograph, the app that you can download onto your phone, they are doing a giveaway for tickets for the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby. It's easy enough to do. Giving away 2 free tickets to the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby. The deadline is July the 2nd at 2:00 Central Time. You have to be registered by then. You download the app. All right. We're going to put the link into the description of our show. So it'll be right there for you. Fans must refer 2 friends and use 100 fan coins. Every referral after 2 is an additional entry into the giveaway. So if you refer 4 people, you get 3 entries. So for additional details, go to autograph.io/blog. And again, when you're done watching this or listening to it, find the description and the link to get you where you need to go will be right there.
All right. You ready to go to Bacsik?
Yeah, let's get Mike in here.
Okay. Mike Bacsik, guys, right after this. Okay, guys, the guest segment's brought to you by the Round Rock Express. Jeff, what's going on in Round Rock?
Well, as we just talked about, they're in Sacramento, finishing up a series there. They return home Tuesday. They're going to play the El Paso Chihuahuas. Tuesday night, it's Taco Tuesday. Wednesday, Dollar Hot Dogs. Thursdays on Thursday. It's also Joe Torre's Safe at Home night. I don't really have an explanation for that, but it sounds interesting. 28th, this is a big one. Round Rock Donut Jersey giveaway to the first 2,000 fans. All sizes, extra large, Saturday the 29th. Another big giveaway, Nolan Ryan Hall of Fame 25th anniversary bobblehead giveaway presented by Dell Technologies for the first 2,000 fans. And then the post-game concert that night is the Spasmatics. I don't know if you've ever seen the Spasmatics. They're pretty fun. And then the homestand runs until July 3rd. That's when Round Rock will celebrate Independence Day with post-game fireworks. So for more information, go to milb.com/round-rock for more information.
All right, guys, and joining us right now from the TV broadcast, it's our friend and one of our good buddies. It's Mike Bacsik. Hey, fellow Duncanville guy. So, Jeff, you're the odd man out here. What's up, man?
Not much. Just staying busy, getting ready for a weekend of, Rangers baseball and 15-year-old baseball.
Where you got a tournament?
Yeah, it's every weekend, and it's I live in really close to downtown Dallas, and we always play at least an hour away from downtown Dallas. At least an hour away.
No, that's we're the World Series, the quote unquote World Series that they they pull. Our son had one. We live in southern Tarrant County, and it was in Flower Mound, and they play on the weekdays, and he had 8 a.m. games on Monday and Tuesday. So it's like son of a gun. We got to go through all this traffic.
Yeah,
we have to go through rush hour.
If you're just Texas Ranger fans and stop talking about youth baseball, this is so confusing to me. Today, my son played. It's Friday right now. My son played at 9 a.m. My wife has off on Friday, but I guess I don't know. Once they get to high school, they're yeah. And I get the heat here. It can be tough at times to play at 2-3 p.m. But it's just weekday games at 11 a.m. or 9 a.m. It's just kind of I don't know how some of these parents do it. Maybe I'm a weird guy who has a normal job that I have to be there in the morning and stay till the afternoon. I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's no question that our jobs allow us to handle that stuff if needed. Yeah. So, speaking of jobs, how's this broadcast deal going? It'd be nice if the Rangers. It'd be nice if the Rangers would win some games for you.
I love it. Dream job. I can't believe I'm doing it. Growing up, listening to Norm Hitchcock and then Tom Grieve for a while. I just, you can go on and on about. I just can't believe I'm getting to do it. It's amazing. Hopefully people like it. I know that everybody has their opinion, and there's 3 of us doing it with Dave Raymond, Dave Valley, David Murphy, and me. So I understand people will like somebody, maybe dislike somebody, or like certain things we do and dislike certain things we do. But I'm loving it. And I hope to get to do it for years to come.
You can tell that you like it.
Good.
You're having fun.
Good, thank you.
You've done great, Mike. I'm telling you, it's been fantastic.
Well, great. I'm trying my best and trying to get as much information out there and have fun doing it.
Well, and I mean, you can offer insight on the pitching, which has been really, really good. So that I think that's a surprise for the team, that maybe the starting pitching has been this good considering the injuries and everything. But I mean, it's shocking that this team can't hit.
It is. I think at this point, Josh Young, there's too much pressure on him, and maybe he won't feel it, which is great. But it feels like there's just been too many people around the organization say, but when Josh Young comes back, and I'm like, well, he only gets to hit 1 out of 9 times. And I get how one person can affect a lineup. At the same time, Adolis Garcia is going through the biggest struggle of his career. Nathaniel Lowe hasn't been hitting very well or consistently with pop. Jonah Heim's having a rough year. You can keep going down the list. Josh Smith has been awesome. Corey Seager has been. Last year he was better. He's had his moment, his stretch where he's really good. And Simeon's been solid, but neither one of those guys are having a year better than last year or a career year. And then there's guys that are just really struggling. So we'll see how it goes when Josh Young comes back. But he had very little spring training, hasn't played but 4 Major League Baseball games. I'm not expecting much when he comes back. I think it's going to take him 2 weeks of Major League games to maybe start looking like the Josh Young that he was. I hope I'm wrong. I hope day 1 he's great, but I can't believe they're just can't really score runs on a consistent basis or get guys on base on a consistent basis. And then I guess the hope is that when Josh Young comes back, the whole world changes for the Rangers offense. And I hope that's the case, but that's tough to believe one guy can do that.
Yeah. And I brought that up. Josh played 3 spring training games, and he didn't play 9 innings. It was 3 at bats and you're out. And then he steps into the lineup, has 4 great games, and then breaks his arm. But he's played 7 games since the World Series. And I brought this up with Chris Young yesterday. I said, seems like this might be a longer rehab for him. And he said, when Josh Young is physically ready to play 9 innings, we're going to bring him back. So, I mean, he might be back on this next road trip to Milwaukee and Baltimore, if that's the case. But he's not going to be it's not like he's going to have a month's worth of at-bats. He's going to have a week's worth of at-bats, and against AAA pitchers who aren't going to be able to do the stuff that he's going to see. So I agree with your point that it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for him.
And let's be honest too. There's nobody. This team is hitting so poorly right now. Why not let Josh Young get back into it And we know he's probably going to struggle at first, but let's make those rehab at bats here if he can play 9 innings and play defense and put his bat in the lineup and get used to seeing the big league pitching again, because it's way different there than it is in AAA. And so, I mean, why not? I understand. I mean, it'd be different if this team was going great, they were winning, then you're like, you know what? Get your timing down, get it rolling. We're going fine here. We want you sure and healthy. But heck, at this point, let's get him back. If he can go 9 innings and play defense, let's get him back. That's probably
I somewhat agree with both of you guys, and I do think he'll be back for the road trip to Milwaukee and Baltimore. But I guess I would just like to tell Ranger fans listening, if he ends up going 2 for his first 20, that might happen right now. It's going to take him some time. But then, hey, the Rangers aren't hitting, so if he goes 2 for 20, is that much different than what at times you're getting in certain situations? So, it'll be interesting from the Rangers' perspective. Let's just assume it happens on the road trip. And Josh Smith, he's hitting great right now. He's can't really play the field right now because of his hamstring glute area. But when Josh Young comes back to third base, I want Josh Smith staying in the lineup. So I guess I'll ask you guys, podcasters, what are you doing with Josh Smith the day Josh Young comes back as the starting third baseman?
I have a little theory. Okay. As you know, Wednesday the starting center fielder was Wyatt Langford, and I think that Josh Smith can play left field. I don't know if you want to put him in left field with his leg issue right now, but I think that you are either going to DH Josh Young or Josh Smith, or you're going to play him in left field and move Wyatt Langford to center, and then Leody Taveras is going to just be a fourth outfielder for now because he's not hitting the ball well either. I like his defense. I know he's taken some crap for his defense, especially early in the season, but he's of late has been really, really good defensively. So maybe it's a situation where he gets, a defensive replacement like he was Wednesday night. But I would say one way to get Josh Smith at bats is by taking them away from Leody Taveras.
Yep, and for me, I think that's true too, but he's also such a good infielder that, even with Young and with Seager, it doesn't hurt to give them a blow where they can DH a night during the week or whatever, and Josh Smith could slide in there or slide in at third because Young, maybe he needs a day every 4 days just to kind of get reacclimated, and he can just DH. So Smith is a valuable tool. He plays excellent shortstop and third base, and yes, he can play left field. So that's
I'm with you guys, and it'll just be interesting because obviously Leody was the starting center fielder for the Champs last year, and that's part of life in baseball.
Right.
Baseball is not that fair. Sometimes, just being honest here, some guys can really not be playing at a starting major league level, but they have a big contract, so it doesn't matter. They get to play no matter what. And that can happen too, where a contract dictates the playing time. In this situation, Leody is still on, I say a rookie deal. He hasn't, got close to free agency yet.
Yeah, so, he's making $1 million this year, I think.
Yeah, so you're not having to worry about kind of a contract possibly going to your fourth outfielder.
Yeah, I think it's something to definitely watch. I mean, it's just you can't take. I don't know if Josh Smith's been your best hitter, but he has your best batting average right now. So,
and he's the best with runners in scoring position.
That's without a doubt.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Mike. So, I mean, good things are potentially happening. But what would you do with Adolis? I mean, he's going to play every day, but maybe he's not going to play every day. I thought Tuesday when they took him out of the lineup, if you listened to the manager pregame, he kind of sounded like Adolis maybe getting some more days off here.
Well, he's got to have to turn it around if the Rangers are going to make a playoff push. I know we're still a ways away from August and September, but he is going to have to turn around this season. I said this the other day on 105.3 The Fan, and I said, I just want to give Adolis, I know we can't do this as media members, I just want to give him a hug and tell him, I love you. I love what you did for this team. You know that there are hundreds of thousands of Ranger fans that will love you forever, no matter what you do on the baseball field the rest of your life. And so it's okay right now that you're struggling. We're not going to boo you. We're not going to want to kick you off the team. Ranger fans are very cordial. They don't get very loud when things are going great, and they do not boo when things are going bad. So you kind of have that trade-off there. And I just want Adolis to know, I know you want to be great for yourself, for your team, for the fans, but we love you no matter what, because it feels like right now he looks depressed to me at times playing baseball. And it's the first time in his career I felt like, and I'm looking at a guy who has had so much fun playing the game and has gone through bad stretches before. He's a streaky hitter. But I just am like, Adolis, you got to show some more joy, because the way that you're playing in this way, it's not helping. But I understand. We can say have fun playing baseball. It's not fun to strike out. It's not fun to ground out and pop out and go back to the dugout 90% of the time.
You know, this is something I've thought about, and I haven't written it because it's probably not a very popular opinion. But you know, the Rangers had the drawn out deal with him with arbitration, and you know, this is a guy who did so much for the team last year. He had 39 homers. He was the ALCS MVP. And they went down to the wire and barely avoided arbitration. And when we asked him about it right before the hearing, he seemed bothered by it. He did not have a good spring. His spring was not very good. So I just wonder if he started in a rut and just hasn't been able to shake it. Because, you know, Bruce Bochy said the other day, like, if Adolis has a bad first at bat, it carries into the game, and it can't do that. I just wonder, to your point about him not being happy, if this started in January, you know.
God, I hadn't thought of that.
I think you're making a great point, Jeff. And I can go back to my career. It wasn't in the major leagues, but it was in A-ball. And my manager at the time was Brad Kaminsk. I don't know if you guys remember him, but he is, you know, kind of role player, utility player in his career.
He went to UT, right?
I think he might have. But, you know, but I don't know I think he played for the Braves for a little bit, and I'd have to look up, you know, his whole career. But he sat me down one time because I'm stinking in A-ball, and I'm so mad I'm in A-ball. The year before, I spent the whole season in Double-A at 21 years old, led the team in wins, led the team in innings pitched. I had a decent ERA. And they sent me back to A-ball. Neil Huntington, who ended up later becoming the Pittsburgh Pirates general manager, he became the new farm director, and I felt like he was doing me really wrong. And I had a right to feel that way. I mean, there were a lot of things that pointed towards he does not care about me. I'm not one of his new guys. I'm an older draft pick at this point. And so I'm stinking it up in high A-ball. And Brad Kaminsk calls me in and he says, Mike, I understand. And I'll take out all the cuss words. I understand you're getting screwed right now. I get it. And a lot of people in this game at the time, he said, unless you're Ken Griffey Jr. or Roger Clemens, you're probably at some point going to get screwed in this game. And he said, but now you're messing up yourself. You're messing up your career. I cannot call up Neil Huntington or anybody else in this organization and tell them you deserve to go back to Double-A the way you're pitching. And so that one really stuck with me, that I can be mad. I don't want to be part of this organization right now. I want to be back in Double-A. I want to be wanted. I want to be liked. And then Brad kind of set me straight. And it was a big moment in my career. And so I would say to Adolis, if that's truly how he feels, and if I was his agent, because I don't know if he feels this way, but if he does, I would say, here's the deal, Adolis. We got 2 years and $15 million, and then you're going to be a free agent. If you keep playing like this, you're not going to make any more money playing baseball the rest of your life. Yeah. So you will get the $15 million, and you made the money before. But if you keep playing this way, this is it, because then I'm going to have to sign you to a big league invite and hope you make the team.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yep. Don't worry. My dogs bark throughout our podcast.
His dogs are worse. Don't worry, Mike. You're good.
Okay. I think we're onto something. He would never admit it, and I don't know that the Rangers would buy into it or say anything about it publicly. But I think maybe we're onto something here. I looked up Brad Cominsk, by the way. I got him confused with Brooke Kieschnick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kieschnick played for UT for sure.
Yeah, and I played against Kieschnick when he was in Charlotte. At that point, I think he had just become a hitter because he was one of the best two-way players in the history of college baseball.
Yeah.
What have you thought of Michael Lorenzen? He just seems like a kind of a stud.
Yeah, he is a pitcher. I've been saying this on the telecast, and I have no clue how you give out gold gloves at pitcher. It's not like other positions, but I'm like, when he fills his position, he makes it look easier than anybody. So I look at him. One, his fielding is tremendous, but really, we're talking about pitching here. And you kind of feel bad for him that he struggled with Philadelphia, made the All-Star team with Detroit last year, and then nobody kind of wanted him. Right. And the Rangers got lucky in the end. I think the Rangers were working on some other things, and then everything fell through where they couldn't get it done. And luckily, at the end of spring training, he was still available. They get him. A lot of people are like, well, he's going to be a starter for now, but the Rangers will get healthy, and then he'll be a reliever because he's not that good. But you could argue he's the best starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers. When Eovaldi's healthy, he's probably the best right now. But I look at him and go, wow, he's such a pitcher. But analytics, and you probably know this because you guys get to interview Michael Lorenzen. When he came in, analytics say, well, because he doesn't strike out a lot of guys, he's not valuable in today's game. And so that's why nobody wants to pay him. So he kind of came in with this attitude, and I was like, I wonder how this is going to go. I got to strike out people because he got $4.5 million after making the All-Star team last year. And it was because you don't get enough swings and misses. You don't get enough strikeouts. And nobody in this league pays anymore unless you strike out at least, I would say, 8 per 9 innings. And it really needs to be more than that, but at least 8. And he's not a guy who gets to that number. It's more like 6.5, 7. And so it's been a great pickup. And I'm just wondering, let's see how long he can do this. And I'm hoping it's for a while because last year, his second half, he struggled. But if he can do this for a while, do teams start changing their mind a little bit on how valuable the strikeout is? I'm not saying it's not valuable. It is. But sometimes we overvalue things at certain points because it was undervalued at another point. And I think that the strikeout was undervalued for a long time in baseball. But now I think it's overvalued. And then are you turning pitchers into throwers? Because if I have to strike out more people to get paid, I'm not going to try to challenge hitters early in the count. I have to get to 2 strikes, and throwing hittable or lack of contact pitches, I can fall behind in counts a lot, which then can put me in bad situations. But Michael Lorenzen has balanced that very nicely this year.
Yeah, he's still not striking out a ton of guys, but he's eating innings.
Golly.
Like his four-seam fastball, the numbers on it are really, really good. The bottom line is getting outs. I think that's why, honestly, the Rangers signed Tyler Mahle, because he strikes out so many guys. And Montgomery, there were some contract issues there, obviously some money issues, but I think there are some people who think that Tyler Mahle was a better value than Jordan Montgomery. Yeah. And I think it's because of the strikeouts. Because if you look at Tyler Mahle's career numbers, they're not great. Like Montgomery has a lower ERA, but Mahle's had 200 strikeout season or two. Mm-hmm. I just want a guy who gets outs.
I think Michael's right. The analytics thing, I think it has hurt a lot of it. I think if you were going to dig into analytics and you're looking at strikeouts, something more value could be is what's the exit velocity on these guys? If these guys aren't barreling guys up good, that's still a good pitcher. I don't care what you're saying. If they're not barreling them up and everything's averaging 99 to 103 miles an hour off the bat, man, there were some great ground ball pitchers that made great careers that way. And if you've got a good defense behind you and it's not high exit velocity, there's some value to those guys. I don't care who they are.
Yeah, and you know what? I just thought of this, and I need to ask somebody with the Rangers this. Strikeouts. Because I value if you can strike out Aaron Judge, Juan Soto in big situations. That is a huge value to me. And nothing against – I'll use another Yankee. I love him. He's my friend. Jose Trevino. Jose Trevino at times is not a huge threat to have extra base hits against you. I know he had the All-Star year a year or so ago, but if I get him to hit a ground ball to shortstop on the first pitch and keep my pitch count down so I can work into the 6th and 7th inning, so what I didn't strike him out. He's not that big of a threat to get an
Sure.
extra base hit or put a run on the board with one swing of the bat. So how much value is you struck out 200 guys? But if I'm striking out let's just say the 7, 8, and 9 hole hitters, 70% of my 200 strikeouts, how much value is in that? If I can't strike out the big time hitters in big time situations, because I really don't have great stuff, I have good stuff to get the lesser hitters to swing and miss. I don't know. How much do the analytic department go, well, he only struck out 136 guys last year in 155 innings. But look at the guys that he struck out and the situations he did it in. That is huge value.
Yeah.
But I don't know how deep. I'm sure that they go somewhat deep, but I don't know how deep they go into. Because when we see a guy who hits 40 home runs, like, this 40 home runs, we don't dig into, well, how many of them came in the 7th inning down by 4 with nobody on base?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
if you're in the National League West, how many were at Colorado? How many, sure. And just, I get, the analytics thing is triggered. I don't want to say triggered is the right word, but it made me think when Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown and won the MVP, his WAR was like 7.1 or 7.5, and Mike Trout had like a 10.5 that year. And I just wonder, it was right at the start of, this is 12 years ago. It's right at the start of the WAR becoming the be all end all. Cabrera won it, but I remember stories saying that Mike Trout should win it. He's more valuable. I think WAR is discriminatory. If you're a bad defensive player or a bad base runner, you're never going to win an MVP.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. It's funny. I'm going to bring this up because I just looked at this today because we were having a discussion about Ken Griffey Jr. last night based off of Rick Woodfield and him being there and Willie Mace passing away and who's the greatest living player in baseball today. And Ken Griffey Jr., I think, is in the discussion. And in 1999, if I have my year right, because that's the year Pudge won MVP and Pedro finished second, Martinez. Ken Griffey Jr. finished 10th, and he had 48 home runs, 134 RBIs. He hit 285, which was a low batting average in the top 10 MVP candidates. His OPS was tremendous. He scored 120 something runs, which was like 4th in the American League, and he finished 10th. Then his WAR, which this was crazy to me because he played center field, his WAR was 4.9 with 48 homers, 134 RBIs. If you look it up, the year Pudge won, and I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to take anything away from Pudge or possibly Pedro, who finished second, but how does a guy lead the American League in homers, have a 134 RBIs, which if Manny Ramirez had more and one other person, and I'm like, how did he finish 10th? I get maybe not winning the MVP, but how does that dude finish 10th? And then why was his WAR only 4.9 playing center field in Seattle?
That was a close vote, right? That was like Pudge barely won.
Pudge barely beat Pedro.
Yeah, it was really close. I remember that. And that was the year that Manny had like 100. I think he drove 165.
Yes, it was like 156, I think. But it might have been, you might have just got those two numbers mixed up. It might have been 165, but I was just like, all right, why is I don't understand WAR. Like, it's fun to talk about and it makes some sense, but we have no clue what the form. At least I have no clue what the formula is.
Nobody does. And there's two wars. There's the baseball reference WAR, and then there's the Fangraphs WAR.
So how do you play center field, put up those numbers I just said, and everybody knows that Griffey Jr. had great range, great arm, and he had a 4.9 WAR with well over 100 runs, well over 100 RBIs, 48 homers, and a 285 batting average.
Let's ask the WAR department.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike.
Why did he do so bad?
Yeah. Mike, listen, I know that you're off day. You're at home with the family. You ran to Trader Joe's. You're taking care of the wife and the kids and doing all that. But listen, we appreciate you stopping down. It's always fun to get on here and have Mike on here and have everybody on talk baseball like that. But we're going to get you out of here, Jeff. You got to get down to the clubhouse.
I need to get to the clubhouse. There's some news going on, I think. So
yeah,
get down there.
He's going to be starting lineup, guys. Mike Bacsik, once again, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you back out at the ballpark when you're out there.
Thank you, fellas.
All right.
Okay, bud. See you later. That's Mike Bacsik. We're going to go down in the bus leagues right after this. All right, guys. Down on the bus leagues is brought to you by the Frisco Rough Riders. Jeff, what's going on down in Frisco?
Well, Frisco is in Midland, as you know, and we're going to talk a lot about Frisco here in this upcoming segment. They get home, kind of a choppy schedule here. They get home on Thursday, the 27th, against Corpus Christi. It's Thursday that day on the 28th. Rock into Idioma, multicultural weekend. That's Friday. Saturday, the 29th, kids are on the bases. Sunday the 30th, it's Major League Cricket night, which is kind of a big deal now because USA Cricket had a big upset here earlier this month, and then they go out of town for like a couple days and come back for just in time for the 4th of July, which will be Stars and Stripes night, presented by Rhythm Energy, which of course comes with fireworks. So for more information, go to milb.com/Frisco.
All right, big thanks to Mike Bacsik for joining us. Now time to go down in the bus leagues by the Frisco Rough Riders, like we said. Let's go to Round Rock first. That's AAA, 36-35. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They have won 3 in a row, which means they did finally dip below 500, but now they're up above it. Hey, Jack Leiter. That was a good start.
Yeah, Jack Leiter, yeah. 7 scoreless innings, 5 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 101 pitches, 70 strikes. All right, that's elite stuff right there. And if you're going to throw that many strikes, you're going to give up hits. Like Greg Maddux, one of the premier strike throwers in baseball history, never threw a no-hitter. All right, because he was always throwing strikes. It's just part of the deal. But man, what a good start for him. It's probably the best of his career, to be perfectly honest. It kind of, he needed it too, because he'd kind of been struggling a little bit. He works on it, found an adjustment, and good for him. Good for the Rangers. They don't need him right now. They might at some point, but he needs more reps. He needs more success. He remains confident in himself, and this is kind of back on the right track stuff for him. So good for Jack Leiter. Owen White had an okay start last night. Still hasn't quite figured it out yet. So some good news is that Derek Hill did not take free agency. He accepted the outright assignment to the Rangers, and he's back in patrolling center field.
Yeah. Thought he wasn't going to do that, but he turns out he did. And Round Rock really likes him too. Not only do the Rangers love him, but Round Rock, the city, loves him.
Yeah. I mean, he's just nice guy. Good player,
Good player,
And then Sam Huff is back. He was up for the birth of Jonah Heim's third child, Champ.
Yeah.
And Huff caught a big league game Monday. Didn't go particularly well. Obviously, we talked about that for John Gray. The people are kind of wondering, well, why doesn't Huff play more when he's up here? Well, technically, everything he does behind the plate's good. His receiving's good, blocking's good, his throwing is good. There's just some little things that fans don't see that take place before games. Going over the scouting report, meetings before the games, stuff like that. Sam is 26 or 27. He's a little bit older now. This is it for him. He really needs to. This is his last year with options. He needs to figure it out. He also needs a hit. He's been on a long home run drought down there at Round Rock, but the whole team is in a home run drought. I mean, it's ridiculous. They don't have it. They don't have anybody with 10 home runs. Neither does Frisco, for that matter. We'll get to Frisco here in a second, but you just kind of look at the home run totals. Hill has 8. He had 8 when he got called up to the Rangers in May. Blaine Krim has started hitting some balls out. He's up to 7 home runs. He gets hot as the year goes along, but but really there just aren't a lot of guys. Probably their best power hitter right now is Jose Barrero, though he's only hitting 186, but he has 6 home runs since he came back. He's hitting him at a higher rate. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of weird because this is the Pacific Coast League where the ball flies and all this stuff, and the ball's not flying. at least not for the Round Rock hitters. But the big development in the last week has been Jack Leiter. Johnny Cueto had a nice start the other night. Still don't see a way for him to make this team. And then Daniel Robert is a guy who I've mentioned in the past at rangerstoday.com. $5.99 a month, $60 for the year. He's really pitching well. He's throwing a lot of strikes, something that has bit him in the past. 32 walks, 7 strikeouts in 25 innings. 2.16 ERA. Opponents are only hitting 128 off of him. This is a guy who's been in Major League spring training 2 or 3 times. It looks like he's finally put some things together. And the unfortunate thing for him is with all these starters that are going to be dumped into the Rangers bullpen, there may not be a spot for him. But he's been really, really good. And Garabito has stayed good. He was really good at AAA. He came up and pitched for the Rangers 3 times and did well. And now he's gone back and he's pitched a few times.
Yeah,
and he's doing real well.
On the 40-man?
He is still on the 40-man, but we say that as of today. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow when they have to get Max Scherzer back on the roster. But anyway,
let's go down.
Yeah, good for those guys.
Yep, let's go down to Double-A where playoff bound Frisco Rough Riders.
Yeah, let's get that right.
Yeah, they are 44-22. They are 8-2 in their last 10. They did lose their last game, but they clinched the first half. They're the best minor league team in this organization. And Teodo's been dominant.
Yeah, man, he had a great outing his last time out. He struck out 11, and he only threw like 60 something pitches. I mean, he's just dominating. And the thing that he throws 102, of course. So that's obviously something that people just aren't going to see every day. But he had like 21 swings and misses on his slider. And that was the most of any pitcher in the minor leagues on one pitch in one game in like 5 years. So if he has command of those pitches, that's great stuff. That's wipeout reliever stuff for sure. And, when we talked to Carlos Carrasco on our very first minor league roundup, he said, don't discount him being a major league starter because he's doing all the things between starts that good starters do, sticking to his routine, doing his work, video, all that jazz, all that stuff. And I think he learned it in spring training this year, his first in big league camp. So that's been outstanding, but it's, the offense, it's still guys. The team leader in home runs for Frisco is Cody Freeman and Josh Hatcher with 6. All right. Yeah. They don't hit it out of the park, but Freeman has 15 doubles. Abby Ortiz has really struggled, but he's starting to show some life at the plate. The Rangers are encouraged by that. Josh Hatcher remains probably their most valuable offensive player, at least of the first half. So, but they don't have an 800 OPS hitter. It's just they just know how to win. They've played together for a lot of years, this group, and there's a great chemistry there. And it's a lot of fun to go out and win. Winning baseball is fun, as Rangers fans learned last year. Well, it's no matter where you're playing, winning baseball is fun.
Well, and let's get away from winning for a little bit because we got to go down to the one team in the organization that has scuttled, and they have scuttled all year. The first half is over. They finished 28. That's the Hickory Crawdads, who are the high A team. They're 28-38 in the first half. They were 3-7 in their last 10 games. They did win their last game before the first half ended, but they did not make the playoffs. But this is the one team that's below 500.
Yeah, but they got a lot better. They have gotten better offensively as the season has gone along. Alejandro Osuna, he's been pretty good. He strikes out a lot, but he's a really good defensive player. Their best hitter of late has been Sebastian Walcott, the 17-year-old or 18. I can't remember how old he is. He's the high school senior.
He's 18. Yeah.
He's got his average up to 234. Again, that doesn't sound great, but he was down below. He was under 200. Okay. His OPS is at 718. He has 11 doubles, 5 home runs, 2 triples, still strikes out a ton. That's always going to be a problem for a young guy, but the Rangers just love the numbers that they've seen from him over the past, really the past 2 months. So Sebastian Walcott is showing what the Rangers see. He's showing why he's a top 100 prospect in baseball. So that is very, very encouraging as they try to move on from their first half. They still need more offense. There's no doubt about it. Pitching is of course, gave them a chance. Winston Santos, still very, very good pitcher. Joseph Montalvo, Aiden Curry getting better. Mitch Bratt has had a pretty good run here, and you'll recall from our first two, our second and third minor league roundup shows that Jordan Teagues and Josh Bonifaz both said, "Hey, pay attention to Mitch Bratt." So good for Mitch Bratt. His birthday is next week, 2 weeks, I think. He's still 20. He was drafted young. He's 20 years old. He's a premium strike thrower. That's always been his calling card. He's going to, like we were just talking about, guys who throw a lot of strikes are giving up a lot of hits, and sometimes they aren't throwing good strikes, they're going to go a long way. But Mitch looks like he's really found something here. And when it's promotion season, the first half is over. We're kind of in that area where players are going to start getting promoted. You think Winston Santos is kind of an automatic to go to Frisco because he was at Hickory all of last year, and he's done a real nice job this first half. I wouldn't be surprised if Mitch Bratt gets promoted, to be honest. Just a lefty that throws hard, throws a lot of strikes, and it might be time for him. He spent all of last year there. He was hurt, but still, that one wouldn't surprise me at all. So good stuff continues on the pitching side for them at Hickory.
Yeah, and if you go down East is a team that started out probably the worst in the organization when the season started, but they have really come on strong. They're 35-30. They did finish third in the first half. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They did lose in the last couple of games, but that's a team that started out so horrible and just took off like a rocket and really came back and started winning.
Yeah. Well, look, kind of like Hickory, this team really pitches well, and we've had our buddy Alejandro Rosario was on our show, our roundup show not long ago. He's only gotten better. His ERA is now 1.49. And if it's promotion season, you can look at any number of pitchers at Down East and say, oh, he's probably due for promotion. Cole Drake, 2-1, 1.67 ERA. This is a pretty baffling number. 71 strikeouts and 9 walks. I mean, that's mesmerizing. Rosario, 63 strikeouts, 5 walks. Jose Gonzalez, 61 strikeouts, 9 walks in 44 innings with a 1.41 ERA. David Davalillo, 1.71 ERA. He walks a little more guys, but only 14 in 47 innings. So there's 4 guys right there who are candidates to get promoted. I don't think they would all get promoted at once. That might leave the cupboard pretty bare, but all 4 of those guys have earned it. Even Brian Mendoza, 2.41 ERA in 52 innings, 56 strikeouts, 15 walks. So you're looking at some really good stuff there on that group. And then on the hitting side, I really think that Glider Figueiredo is due for a promotion. This is his second season at Down East. He has a 841 OPS. He has 11 home runs, which is 7 more than the next closest guy on the team. He's got his average over 250. His on base percentage is .350. All right, he does strike out a lot, but it seems like over the last couple of weeks he's really trimmed those down. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him get promoted to Hickory. They need to have a spot for him though, because Walcott can play some third base, Cam Cauley can play some third base. If you're going to promote somebody, you want to promote them and make sure they're getting at bats. So I'm sure the Rangers have a plan for guys, but it seems like if anybody on the Down East lineup is going to get promoted, it's going to be Figueroa.
And he's only 19.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah,
but he's got a lot of power, and he's a left-handed hitter. It's pretty good. It can be. So
before we get out of here, any news from the ACL or the DSL or
no, not really. The Rangers have been cycling through rehabbers through there, including Isaac Tiger, who is back. He should be at Down East. If he isn't already, it's imminent. Unfortunately, Jose Corniel, who was the Rangers minor league pitcher of the year, he's going to have
Tommy John.
Well, Tommy John or the brace surgery. He has a UCL issue that has to be repaired. So, he was really good in big league camp. The Rangers liked him. And then it was shortly thereafter that his arm started to bark, and the Rangers thought they were going to get through it. But he wasn't recovering well. And so that's never a good sign. So they had some more imaging done. And sure enough, it's a pretty big one to lose. He's basically, if he gets the brace, I think he can come back late next year. If he does full blown Tommy John,
he's gone next year and then comes back.
He's going to miss 2 years. So a tough break for him. But the darn season's almost over in Arizona, because they started early. They're going to end. They're going to end in July. They've got about a month left in their season. So, you're going to see guys go from there to Down East. Yeremy Cabrera just makes sense to go. I think he's still tied for the league lead in home runs. He has a 10.23 OPS. He seems like he's definitely going to go to Down East when that's all done. But I think they'll keep. None of these guys will get promoted that soon. They'll finish out the season in Arizona. With the unfortunate thing is that Arizona and the Dominican Summer League, they have time. They started their schedules, offset starts to their seasons, and so none of the DSL guys are going to get the chance to get promoted to Arizona. So they're either going to have to stay in the DSL all year or hop into low A, which might be a challenge for some of them. But you know the names, the guys we want to watch. We want to see how Curly Martha's doing. He's doing okay. You want to see how Yolfran Castillo's doing. He's doing great. He's batting .439, but he only has one extra base hit. The Rangers want to see a little more pop before they promote him. Paulino Santana, he's doing well. He gets on base, man. He's got more walks than strikeouts. He still needs to hit the ball a little bit out of the ballpark, but so those are kind of guys that you got to just keep your eye on and see if they get promoted once their season's done. It won't be before then, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's put another one in the can. Another fun time with Mike Bacsik, who joined us there. We got all the Bus League stuff done. You and I are both going to be out there tomorrow. You're out there tonight. You're already at the ballpark now.
I'm at the ballpark. Yeah.
So you're about to go down to the clubhouse and see them. Guys, look, this is episode 126. It's been a blast, and we have so much fun with you guys. We really appreciate all the support, and it's really helped us get where we are right now. But this one's in the can, and until next time, for Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore. Guys, we will see you at the yard.